Welcome back, race fans, to Deviant Racing League. My name is Webbo, here to bring you the GTD second tier of the GTD World, the GT World Challenge here at Deviant Racing Season 5.1. We're at glorious Goodwood for the next round of the championship, and this is how the GTD season looks after two races. We've got Shiesty leading in P1 ahead of Dollars and Arcane in third place. They will compete over the promotion relegation battle for access into the next season. GT4 cars today. We've got Roy Mustang Senior in P4 with Aussie ahead of Mercury Binkit, Jim, Slug, Siam, Kuros Kai, Saito with K2 Mars and Floody at the tail of the field. Floody has not competed yet, but is definitely here today. I can see him on my second screen. We've got Legend Motor Racing ahead of Team Jetstream, Sugar Rush, Liquid Death, Perfect Pace, Enzo Motorsport and Team Crude Awakening. My apologies, of course, for the late start today. Hi to Going Grays as well. Great to have you here. But yeah, we're a little bit late starting because the previous round had a lobby glitch, and we were very late starting and finishing the GTD Pro. But we had a different host, so I thought I'd have enough time to grab a drink in between. There's K2 Mars, the Brazilian sensation, joining us here with outrageous pace. He and Shiesty have been absolutely incredible. I think we've got the wrong livery on his car. Yes, we have. He should be in a bright pink livery, the same as Floody here, but he's the fastest ahead of Roy Mustang, Dad and Son, in P2. Floody's in third currently of 17.5, making a triumphant return so far in qualifying, at least in the Chevy at this Goodwood circuit, which looks easy on paper. It's not the only track in GT7 that looks like a chicken nugget. But it looks easy on paper, but it's actually ferociously difficult, and just like all racing tracks, really hard to get the absolute maximum out of it. There is Shiesty in the Porsche GT4. Unfortunately, we haven't got all the liveries to date. If there is a delay in the intervening period, I will try and do the normal hack of getting it all back together again. Astonishing's in 6th, Binkit in 7th, in that not very race car looking Peugeot RCZ. It's even uglier than its GT3 sister, isn't it? Siam is in 8th, then Jim in 9th place, with Arcane currently in 11th. Unchanged livery there today. And then the Aston Martin Team Jetstream British Airways for Goodwood. Very appropriate here. I'm glad they didn't choose EasyJet. Then we've got Kuros Kai in 13th, Saito in 14th, currently on that qualifying session. So let's have a look on board then with K2, finishing out his second out lap and starting his second big flying lap now, having burned off a little bit of fuel. He does have, I think that's Jim in the Porsche just directly ahead of him in the Legend Motor Racing Porsche. Great grip on this Chevy, actually, wow, as he then manages to get around the outside here, and that has got to be a pretty good start to this lap as they run through the right-hander. Hands up if you're with us live, say hello, as Going Grays has. But if you've actually seen a race around Goodwood before, because it is very rare, it's usually historic race cars that are racing here. Drop of one gear, turn it round, get out of Lavant corner and onto the longest straightaway. Aussie's stolen pole by 3/10 of a second, nearly 4/10 of a second. Aussie, the Canadian, has stolen that pole position at this stage. 6 minutes 46, 6 minutes 47 deep into this 10-minute qualifying session. But it's a purple sector from K2. It looks like he is absolutely on fire today. This Chevy also looks like it's a great race car around this circuit. The longer wheelbase, probably favouring these cars with the stability around the long sweeping right-handers, and into the pole position provisionally for K2 by a further half second from Aussie. His teammate Floody looks like he's definitely got the bit between his teeth today, although he's in the pit lane currently, just having set his time in third place. Here is Dad and Son in, I believe that this is the Aston? It's certainly a right-hand drive car, so let's just go to the outside. It is an Aston, yeah, traditional Aston Martin racing colours as well here. So back on board, you can just see the British Airways tail insignia reflection on his dashboard from his rear wing, I think that was. Heading through, we'll be into sunset conditions today. K Morris cheering on Aussie. Good to have teammates joining from across divisions. This is generally speaking the more popular of the videos here at Deviant. I think mostly because the top tier drivers have done their racing and practice, and they come and watch their teammates in the second tier. That looks like a slower exit of the corner for Daddenson, Dutchman, as he crosses the line, a 17.9, and that will now feel like he's holding up, especially to K2. That's going to feel like he's being held up here. This is Aussie running in the beautiful Ferrari, beautiful sounding Ferrari GT4, and off on the grass, and that is wild from Aussie. But you can see just pushing the limit here. Has he got time to go around? Probably only just if he really motors out of the pit lane, but I've got a feeling that might be the end there for Aussie in this session. Yeah, he's not going to make it around to start a final flying lap. We've got K2 chasing down, trying to further extend his pole position, but he's got two cars fighting for their own qualifying positions in front of him. Or maybe one now. I think they may have skipped back to the pit lane because they know that the gig is up. It's K2 with the Aston Martin Jetstream racing car in front of him. That's Jim. We have several liveries, unfortunately, that haven't made it through. So as I say, if we get a period between qualifying and the race, I will try and do the usual restart thing that seems to help it. Here comes K2 then. Will it be a change? It's K2 ahead of Aussie. And it is not faster, it's actually quite a bit slower this time round. Binkett in the Wonka Peugeot RCZ. They're going to start real quick, says Kirk Morris. Okay, so it looks like we're probably going to have to live with the lack of liveries, unless I get a notification on that one. Coming through, big slide, but big good hold from Binkett there. Car in front on his way in. Great chocolate bar effect on that. Good to see Larry here as well. And unfortunately, Binkett's tyres have definitely gone off and are dead. Happy birthday to Jim, sings Comma Copa. I don't know if you're going to do the entire happy birthday song typed out manually in live chat there, Comma, but maybe you are. It's K2 ahead of Aussie and Binkett. Floody and Astonishing just finishing out his final flying lap now. I don't know if he's going to have time by the look of the clock. Daddenson in 6th, Slug in 7th, and Siam in 8th place. So, yeah, Zen cheering on Floody and welcoming him back. It's great to have everybody back. Bands back together again. Reunited, and it feels so good. K2 Mars, though, one of our newcomers here, doing an amazing job once again in qualifying. So we shall hopefully see a fantastic race. K2 has had much promise, but hasn't been able to convert. You have to say, as good as perhaps he had hoped with his qualifying performances. We haven't yet been able to see the other cars on the circuit at the moment. There's Slug in the famous red and white livery. Liquid Death for Siam in P8. Do a quick. I think it's likely to be quite a quick turnaround. I'll have a look at the safety car lap as well. K2 Mars then, a 1:16.359 in the Corvette C7. Corvette looking like a quick race car, in qualifying at least out there. I imagine it's going to burn its tyres up, but we shall see. Aussie in 2nd, Astonishing in 3rd, and Binkett making up the 2nd row in 4th. Floody and Daddenson in 5th and 6th, with Slug and Siam in 8th position. Arcane 9th, Shiesty 10th. Shiesty looking to continue a fantastic run here, but that qualifying position is not good in the Porsche, so he's going to need to pick that up quite considerably. Jim ahead of Kuros Kai in 11th and 12th positions. Mercury and Alcides will be the back of the grid, with the exception of the genuine safety car, not the unsafety car, at the back there, driven by Chaotica. new admin in the league as well, so congratulations to him. I know that's a little bit old, but I haven't said congratulations to Chaotica, so well done. And that's been putting in a lot of work in the running of the league. A good qualifying from both Wonka cars, the Sugar Rush Racing, 3rd and 4th there together on the grid. And as I've often said, it's I am going to quit out actually, so bear with me. I'll be right back. I'm going to try and... Okay, well, what we've tried to do is reset the liveries. We'll see if that has made a difference and worked. I haven't got a safety car lap, so do let me know. And while we've got this pause in the action, if you could hit something positive underneath the video today, I'd be super grateful. Try and help out the channel get noticed and make sure that more people turn up to watch the races as well. So just 8 seconds to go before we go, but you've got time to press all the buttons underneath the video, as I say, and help us out. But if you are watching and would like to get involved, then there are links in the description today to join Deviant Racing League. So I'm going to get our screen organized. I'll get us underway. That's a horrible situation there. None of the cars are actually working. That's much better. K2 then in the pink Hello Kitty livery on the outside in the Chevy. Alongside him, the Ferrari of our Saito and the 2 Peugeots behind. It's dropped the clutch and it's go, go, go for round 3 of season 5.1. And there's, you've got the second of the Hello Kitty cars coming right round the outside and absolutely storming forward past both Peugeots that were slow away from the start. It's flooding up to P5 from 8th place on the grid, and a really nice clean start and great getaway from him as we head through. It is, that is Siam's Liquid Death Sylvia out on the grass, down to last position as well, unfortunately for him. We'll have another look back by that at that in a moment. And there's Slug in between 2 very similarly coloured cars. Shake and bake, says Arcane's windshield cover, and that's awesome to see. Couldn't get a bigger martini sticker, could you, Jim, on his birthday there in P9, ahead just behind Adamson and ahead of the Jetstream Racing Mercury BA car. Then you've got our Saito, Kiros Kai in 12th, Shiesty in 13th place. Siam then, as we saw, having a bit of a nightmare at the start of the race. Let's have a look back and see what happened to him as he essentially just understeers by himself all the way wide and out onto the grass, unfortunately. And that was his race start going all kinds of wrong. We've just got some action going on there. That is Arcane right in the mix of things, and a huge pinball effect going right on through the chicane. That is lap 1 chicane issues all day long. That's going to happen. Unfortunately, we saw a really clean lap 1, and that is everybody going out of control, completely mental here on the way through. A little sneaky overtake there, and then it is just 1, 2, 3 as they make contact all the way through. I am assuming we've got some... Oh, my word, what is happening on this racetrack right now as Jim uncharacteristically goes all over the circuit and off onto the grass once again. Insane stuff there. That's 2 wheels out on the grass. That's what did it for him. And he's got a huge tank slapper on, and there's no savouring it. Oh, and he almost wiped out CM for a second time. Wow. Real drama then for the drivers out there. What an incredible one. And I think Zen, with a touch of sarcasm, happy birthday, Jim, he says. K2 Mars leads, but look at this between him and Ozzy in the Ferrari, both on the hard tyres. Ozzy getting the inside line here for the next right-hander. Most of the turns on this track are right-handers. He'll try and sneak ahead, and that's K2 off on the grass slightly. Had to get right out of the throttle. Didn't make the mistake of stabbing the brakes on. And he loses the lead out to Ozzy, who was quick in qualifying. Not quite as quick as K2. And K2, I'm sure, has been working really hard to develop his race pace here. Then it's Astonishing and Floody side by side for a moment there, down the start-finish straight and heading into turn 1. And that is absolute drama. Really, really action-packed at the start of this race then. That's through Madrick Corner into Ford Water now we go. And heading towards that St Mary's left-hand section. We need to complete the Ford Water corner, and then we go left into St Mary's. This is where I think the Chevy will struggle slightly. If it struggles anywhere, it'll be here in the chicane, but for the majority of the lap, that Chevy is going to be the car to drive today. Slug has a half-second penalty to pay. Didn't see many of those in the GTD Pro race, in the GT3 machinery. And he's going to try and get himself ahead here before they get up to the penalty line. There it is. Stays driver right on the track just to get out of the way of other drivers. Here is Shiesty, who's been so strong at the start of this season, but this qualifying, Goodwood is a funny circuit, and if you've got a car that is tending towards oversteer like the Porsche, I imagine it's going to be a very tricky day racing. We've already seen Jim struggling, Shiesty clearly struggling in the qualifying portion. Here is Siam playing 4D chess, says Larry. So we'll see if that comes to pass. Hopefully we haven't got too much beef going on in the live chat at the moment. I can see various individuals involved. Just playing on my mind slightly. It's Siam just behind Dad and Son. That's Roy Mustang Senior racing today with Shiesty alongside Slug. Shiesty tucking ahead. Oh, and it's off. It's off once again then for Dad and Son. And I think they may have come together. I think he and Siam may have just come together on the way through. Maybe he was slightly distracted from the car in front, but did Siam get into it here on the braking zone? He absolutely did. He sends Roy Mustang flying, and then very sporting of him. I think he's going to sit and wait for him to come through. I think he does end up off the circuit. Just waits patiently for Roy Mustang to come on by. But wow, what a section there. It has been a crazy race. Sometimes we have quite a quiet start from the GT4s, but they're not going to go for that at all today. This has been off the charts crazy so far. It's Aussie 2.9 seconds ahead of Poleman, K2 Mars, and Astonishing ahead of Floody, the popular returnee here to GT Racing. Then behind them we've got Arcane and Binkit in 5th and 6th positions, all on your screen right now. Goodwood is the fish and chips version of Big Willow. Larry, in the GTD Pro, I was comparing this to Big Willow, and then I started to think I'm talking rubbish, but you're absolutely right. It does share a lot of characteristics to Big Willow. If this is fish and chips, what is Big Willow? What's a Big Willow region gastronomic equivalent, I wonder? The 52 of Arcane in that nimble VW Scirocco, little family hatchback here, is competing with a Chevy C7. It's quite a strange sight on the racetrack. And then you've got the Peugeot RCZ up there as well. Roadkill is the equivalent. A trailer park buffet, is it? We've got Floody in 4th then as he gets very close to disaster. The car in front even closer, I think, as they come through this fantastic, if incredibly dangerous chicane. Slug's in 8th, Mercury is in 9th, and then we have our collection of drivers who've all had significant problems through the race so far. Kuros Kai in the famous Gulf colours in his Scirocco. Hasn't changed or updated that one since the last race, as far as I can tell. I have no idea on the safety car actually at the moment either. I wasn't updated, so if anybody knows, let us know, and we'll pass on the information. 16 says Zen, thank you very much. I can always rely on Zen to have all the facts. It's Aussie in P1 in the Camel sponsored Ferrari here. The GTD Pros were in all yellow. This has got a touch of the blue about it, and I really like the pattern that they've gone for. Not necessarily a famous historic pattern there. And K2 Mars putting the Brazilian flag stickers on his mandatory green sections of his car is a great little touch, actually. Look at that. Order mi progresso, it says across the Brazilian flag, and taking the opportunity to use the mandatory lime green wing mirrors and end plates and race numbers to decorate with his nation's flag. Love to see originality like that. It's Floody in P4, right in the mix here, and has a little bit of contact with Arcane, I think, on the way out of the chicane. Let's see if that became anything here from the chase view. Arcane with that great grip of the Scirocco, really good balance. He can really get the car turned in nicely. Floody was out of shape. There was no malice in that, I don't believe. Now we continue going door to door here with the Porsche. That is Shiesty, the newcomer, and Arcane says, "You might be new here, buddy, but I know how to deal with the upstart racing drivers on this track." Here is Floody then in that P5 in the slower St Mary's left-hand section here on the way through, and that's where the Chevy will suffer, getting the power down. But through the fast right-handers, I think it's going to be the car to be in. That is Arcane pushing the envelope a little bit too much. Shiesty chasing down, and his progress through the race so far has been very, very impressive. Shiesty on the inside line as they approach. I think he's slightly too far behind at this stage, but he's keeping the foot planted, and he's going to lean into the corner, lean on the door handle of the Scirocco, and through goes Shiesty. And they were robust that lap between the two of them. And he really showed his quality. He couldn't get the right run through the chicane, unfortunately for him, so they'll go side by side. They'll continue side by side again. He's going to try and hold firm on that inside line, but right around the outside goes Arcane. What a fantastic sequence from these drivers here. This is a great run. You didn't see the overtake from Shiesty. That was special. But Arcane right around the outside, high on Espolon Tequila, and he goes through back into the position that belonged to him earlier on. Great midfield battle once again here at GTD and the GT4 second tier of GT World Challenge, and chasing down Floody is Arcane. This VW Scirocco seems to be one of the better cars, certainly was in season 4.3, taking our drivers for a fantastic run in the season 4.3 championship, as we watch what's happening up ahead as well. And he just completely drags past Floody, so I think that was Floody just slow off the corner. Floody is struggling on the hard tyres with understeer in a big way, and that affects not just his entry, his mid corner, but most importantly affects his exit out of these corners as well, because he's just later on the throttle. He's on the dirty part of the racetrack. But it's great to see 5 drivers after 9 laps still nose to tail, inclusive of the 2 Sugar Rush racing cars of Astonishing and Binkit. Up front, you've got Aussie out there, 4.1 seconds ahead of K2. But really, all the action is happening here in the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th positions as they continue through this fantastic sunny Goodwood afternoon. Into the early evening we'll be going. The wind, we've got a southeasterly at a fairly strong 4.2 meters per second, but that has cooled down and calmed down from the very windy conditions that the GTD Pro drivers had to deal with. I don't know if any of our GTD Pro drivers who are watching live chat today can comment on the wind, because it was changing quite considerably, and I imagine that is upsetting the handling of the cars mid-corner especially. Through different portions of the lap. This is Shiesty as he chases down Floody, not for the first time, trying to get that 6th place, and Arcane is getting ahead. Shiesty's gone for the soft tyres. He'll be in the pit lane pretty soon, I would imagine. Not this lap for Shiesty, but we'll be going for at least a 2-stopper today as we continue then. A much earlier safety car, but it won't be early enough, I don't imagine, for Shiesty to make it to lap 16. Already a lot of understeer on the way through the first corner, called Magwitch, and that is Floody trying to get that inside line again. Had to hesitate on the way through. Will he roll out of the brake on the right hander? He needs the braking performance though to be able to get into St Mary's well. Gets a little bit too much at the apex, just a little bit of oversteer. I'm not quite sure. There's no tyre deg explanation for that to speak of, and that is allowing Shiesty to climb back up and catch Floody. I would imagine at this point Shiesty is being slowed down here by these drivers in front of him. He is a ferociously fast driver. I think he's won the first 2 rounds of the season so far. So as he gets the overtake done on Floody, that was very, very nice indeed. I'm expecting him to head towards pit lane. Let's see. Through the chicane we go. He's got a good line going on through the corner, and he doesn't go into the pit lane, in fact. I'm not sure I'm going to be quick enough here to catch the overtake. Just the very end of the overtake there on Floody from Shiesty, but another really good overtake. Another action-packed portion of our race. 46 minutes just over to go as the midfield continue to be really close and piling on the pressure for any of them to make a mistake. A relatively early safety car is going to mean a longer second stint of the race, and we should get a racing speed pit stop for everybody later in the race portion, unless you go for someone like Shiesty who's on the soft tyres. They still have to use the same tyres as the GTD Pros. The hard and the medium are required. Shiesty early on committing to a 2-stop. I think everyone will be 2 or even 3 pit stops today with the tyre deg here at Goodwood on that front left tyre. It's Binkett in P4. His teammate Astonishing in P3. K2 in the Chevy. Still there in P2 on the hard tyres. The second, third, fourth drivers all on hard tyres at this point. Just underlining how good their pace is. And the first of the medium drivers then is Binkett. Do you know what? It kind of looks like Shiesty's going to hang on here. Arcane in 5th. Shiesty has almost burnt through that front left on the soft tyre. You would have to imagine this will be the last competitive lap he'll be able to put in the Porsche. But as they power through down the second straightaway here in towards Fordwater, fairly gentle entry, and then it just gets slower and tighter as they approach the awkward braking zone of St Mary's. That's a big slide then from Arcane. That looks stylish. He's going to be struggling not to run into the back of the Peugeot. Absolute opposite speed difference going through those corners between the two of them. And in the end, Arcane muscling and sliding his way through into P4. He's on the medium tyres. The drivers around him on the softs, with the exception on the hards, with the exception of Shiesty, who's on the soft tyre. On board then with Arcane as he looks for a weakness in the RCZ game of Astonishing in front, dreaming of a podium at this point. Arcane, as we'll go through, we'll see if Shiesty comes in here on board with him. Yeah, finally we commit to the pit lane. You do have to brake pretty hard, and one of the things that we saw in GTD Pro was drivers going into the pit lane very close to one another. It is really, really tricky to see that pit wall. Slug celebrating all things Ferrari in the Enzo Motorsport colour scheme and race suit and helmet. We've got Mercury in P8, Siam in 9th in the Nissan Silvia, followed by Dad and Son in 10th. Kuros Kai. I was expecting a bit more out of Kuros Kai, but he's gonna come good later on, I'm sure, in the Scirocco. After the safety car will condense the field. Shiesty's made his first pit stop onto the hard tyres. That is going to feel like a very different Porsche on his run through. Jim on his birthday, drinking martini as he races, I'm sure. P13 at the moment, and R Saito in a slightly confusing to me livery. We'll get into that during the safety car period. Here is the leader though, Aussie, by nearly 4 seconds as we are getting towards that safety car period. I wonder if the drivers are going to make their way and not bother to pit before lap 16 if you're on hard tyres and have still got half a tank of fuel left to go. We've still got 42 minutes, 42 seconds to go in our race. K2 in second place. K2 in P2, I should say. as he tries to get a good run. That's a flash of the lights from Arcane. I don't think there's any real reason for that at this point. They don't seem close enough for there to have been yeah, contretemps between the two of them. Is it ever called for? Possibly when you're lapping other drivers, but sometimes drivers are using controller and they just stab the steering stick too hard and it flashes the lights. So it's not always communicating displeasure or warning to the drivers in front. Some of these cars will also have horns. Does that say Kendrick Lamar on the back of his car now as well? That might be a new update to the to the livery. As I say, we will have a look at those closely later on. I don't know if Larry has got Gus watching, but I think there's some interesting liveries for Gus to take a look at just in a lap or two's time, Larry. Some very kid-friendly liveries. And Floody, who was that? I think that was Arcane into the wall. Let's have a look. I think we made contact with the wall here on the way through the chicane. We're on the way into the pit lane, and I think we decided in the end. Oh, okay. Well, on replay, that was some pretty horrendous netcode there from him. So he's into the pits. So are several other drivers, look, on their way in. And Shiesty running wide. Will he come into the pits as well? No, he doesn't need to. I just thought he might get off the hard tyres, as everybody else around him are pitting in advance of our safety car. K2 has decided to stay out on those hard tyres. Might be thinking about a one-stop. Of course, the GT4 cars do take less fuel, excuse me, than the GT4s take less fuel than the GT3s here on the racetrack. So they can go longer, especially if they're on the hard tyres. K2 and Floody, I don't know if they've had chance to talk about their strategy. Floody on his return. K2, brand new driver here with us. Brazilian ace, as we get ready to find that for safety car. Chaotica has emerged from the pit lane now. So we can get up close to these liveries. Maybe this is one for Charlie. I'm not sure, Larry, but this is a Hello Kitty. What does that say on the hood? Read that, unfortunately. That's, yeah, I can't read that one. It's Perfect Pace. It's Hello Kitty special. They've gone pink to black fade rather than pink to a light blue fade, and a big giant Hello Kitty sticker on the back window as well. Very nice. Sticking with the feline theme, and that's actually Hello Kitty wearing a Michelin Man suit as well down there. I don't know if they've got two separate stickers or they actually have a Michelin Hello Kitty sticker in the box. A novel take, I have to say, on the camel yellow colour scheme here from Enzo Motorsports in the GT4 or GTD group. But very attractive, very interesting colour scheme. I do like all the triangles. It's a great sticker set that they've got on the car there. And then this this kaleidoscopic style livery for the VW, and it is Kendrick Lamar on the lower left of the car, as well as some High Noon Sunsips and tequila sponsors, John Julio and Espolon. I don't know what Froggy is, but yeah, certainly very colourful from the team. Astonishing is in the Sugar Rush Wonka colour scheme. Zen, you'll have to let me know who the designer is this time round of the Wonka Sugar Rush, and why it was that the Carambar still appeared in the GTD Pro series. We're going for Coca-Cola for the classic Legend Motor Racing team colours. I'm not quite sure how. I guess that must be very evocative of US Motorsport, but it's not one that has ever really graced World Motorsport Coca-Cola particularly. Traditional Ferrari colours here for Enzo Motorsport. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. B8 for Team Jetstream. Probably, I was saying earlier on, probably in homage to the fact that it's at Goodwood, and a very sophisticated Aston Martin colour scheme. Big thanks for the Webbo sticker as well on the car there, behind the front wheel. appreciate that. Liquid Death is unchanged, and every Japanese sticker possible on the wings, very Japanese style. And we've recolored the Porsche Stuttgart emblem, and we've gone for the largest martini sticker ever known to racing on the bonnet as well. But very nice indeed. Always a great livery. I do enjoy that colour scheme, and the eagle-eyed among you will see that my current Porsche that I'm in at the moment in GT7 is this very livery as well. So great to see, as is the Gulf colours. As you could probably imagine, I'm a big fan of the blue and orange. Kiros Kai said he was going to be fantastic today, and I should catch all of his best moments. So we're waiting for those, Kiros Kai. So let us know when they're going to happen. Now this is the slightly confusing one. I don't know about ice melt. Ice melts ice fast, and Red Wing shoes as well. Yeah, not a brand I'm familiar with here for our Saito. But Roadrunner on the back window is great. In fact, Mrs. Webbo uses the Roadrunner meep meep as her notification sound in the on her phone, and it annoys the whole family. Chaotica has a very clean safety car. Go back, check out the safety car in the previous stream, and go figure exactly what was going on there. As the safety car has beeped 3 times, that means it's time to go racing once again with 36 minutes on the clock. K2 Mars in front of teammate Floody. They have not stopped yet. They are on old hard tyres, and it's green flag, and away we go then on lap 17 here with a 35 minutes to go. Aussie needs to get by Floody quickly. Floody should be playing the team game really and holding off Aussie, but there's not much you can do when Aussie is on brand new soft tyres and just drives on by around down the inside. Nickelodeon on his helmet, I've just noticed, for Aussie, the Canadian driver in the Enzo Motorsports Camel sponsored livery, and it is the light is starting to dip here. Zen says Binkett is the designer, Thrasher is just lazy. I love that. A little bit of team run. Well, I doff my cap to Binkett. It's a great design this time out as well. I know he does enjoy livery designs, especially slightly off the wall designs as well. Arcane is in 4th place on brand new hard tyres. I think has used the mediums early on and is now on the hards, so satisfying the mandatory tyre allocation. Get a close-up here with the rabbit cam, as it were, following astonishing there in the RCZ with a big chocolate splatter across the grille at the front of the Peugeot, almost disguising how ugly a car it is. Oh, that's sideways then from Shiesty. Shiesty's struggling on the new hards in comparison. He ran the softs at the start of the race. I would imagine he will pit off those hards as soon as he possibly can. And we've got the 2 Aston Martins in lockstep here. Mercury in the 46 behind the 58, if my eyes are working well enough here, of Dad and Son, Roy Mustang Senior, who is putting in a great stint so far in P9. I'm sure he'll be hoping for a little bit more than that. We'll run with the Enzo Motorsport Ferrari as we get a good view of what's happening with Shiesty and Binkett. Shiesty trying to maintain a winning streak here, but it's going to have to be done with a questionable strategy. Good launch there on the soft tyres from Slug, with the rear of the car working well as he gets tucked up down the inside here. This is the long straightaway on the approach into Woodcut corner, which is the last serious corner before heading into the chicane. Cuts off the nose pretty much of Shiesty, who ends up just colliding with him. Can we rescue it? Well, that was well held then from Slug. That was how I saw it in the first instance there. Let me know what you think as they go side by side. There's a bit of a squeeze, a bit of an unnecessary squeeze on the way through here. Then he's oversped, and he well, I don't know. What do you think? Should Shiesty have lifted and got out of that earlier? Or was that slightly not the best positioning then from Slug? Siam is chasing down Shiesty now, as the Sun is trying to stay out and glint through the clouds as we continue to run. It's Siam in the 78, trying to get this hard tyre shod Sylvia, which has got a similar vehicle dynamics to the Chevrolet. And as I said before, Shiesty struggling. The Porsche not the car to drive today, I think, at Goodwood, and especially not on the hard tyre. So he'll be, you know, calculating his fuel and tyre usage and getting off that tyre, I think, as soon as he can. Cut the losses. See him making his way by Arcane as well. Arcane in 9th place. We've got plenty of action happening further forward as well. The two Aston Martins slightly spread out, but Slug's right there on the tail of this battle for what is essentially P2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as we run on and through the chicane. So it is Aussie out in front of K2. That's Aussie 4.7 seconds ahead of K2 now, who had the pole position pace. Binkit, the lone Peugeot in amongst a lot of serious race cars. There's a lot of money on that on those road car equivalents, with the exception of the Peugeot. But Aussie out there leading our race right now, and it looks like Slug sizing up Binkit, who's holding on the inside line in the Wonka sponsored Sugar Rush Racing. I'm not sure if Wonka was specific to the UK or just a just the next one in the box, as it were. Roald Dahl, the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, was a transplanted Brit. He was a Norwegian by birth, but took residence in the UK when he was writing much of his famous children's books. You've got K2 and Floody, second and third, and Binkit is hanging on by a thread to this position as the Astons try and get through the floral chicane. It doesn't make it any less scary, Goodwood, just if you put flowers on top of the chicane. So there you go. Zen saying we just missed an astonishing and arcane big wreck. Absolutely, yeah. Sorry about that, folks, but that would explain why Arcane was further back. Try and focus on lots of cars together where we can, but it's inevitable that we will end up missing a few moments here and there. But yes, they have noped out of the battle here. You can see a little bit of scratched up front wing of Arcane as they head into that left-hander of St Mary's. Siam has made his way through. Arcane and Shiesty behind him. Shiesty still on the hard tyres. Just under half the race still to go here. Easterly wind, 4.2 meters per second. That is a tailwind through this section down the long straightaway. That will give them a little bit extra top speed. They'll have to brake slightly earlier into the right-hander at the end here of Woodcut. And we might see drivers understeering as a result. Arcane's getting a really good line through there, and it's slightly slower, but it is stopping any overtakes, and it prepares him well for the chicane, and he can get on the power nice and early. Astonishing in 11th then. Has dropped back, as Zen rightly pointed out. Jim is into the pits off his hard tyres. I think that's his first pit stop, and he comes in with 2 litres of fuel remaining. Kuroskai is in 14th place right now and goes by the pit lane, so we'll at least overtake Jim. Chaotica waits. Often we see our safety car driver quit out, but Chaotica's staying with this. We've got Aussie in P1, 8.1 seconds ahead. Slugger's got by Floody. That is all kicking off here. Let's see if we can catch Slug passing Floody. There's a little bit of contact there as well. Here it goes. That was Floody going wide while Slug snuck past the Wonka cart. Wow, that was something else. So the sea's parting for Slug, who gets himself up into that position, and then we'll go 3 wide on the way into the right-hander. No way is this working, and it doesn't work out well at all. That's Mercury kicked off. That's Roy Mustang kicked off the circuit at the same time as well. Oh, massive contact then for Slug. It was all looking so good, and then it's gone to nothing here. Look at this. Slug, the meat in the BA sandwich, and there's just nowhere to go in that situation. Better that someone blends out the throttle, enter the fray that Wonka car, who was just wronged earlier on, and then as we go to turn left, we're unsighted into the pit wall, and bang, that's a big damage on the car as well. So that's huge drama then on that lap, and it's not over yet, because here comes Arcane to get these positions back. Shiesty following through here in the small Porsche GT4, gets tucked up the inside. I think he's finally turned those tyres on. Slug has had damage, it's cleared, but his front left tyre on the soft tyres will be very much second best. So the soft tyre experiment doesn't appear to be working for Slug and the Enzo Motorsport driver team. Off the circuit goes, I think that was one of the BA cars, was it? Or was that Siam back out there? It is Siam, and he's struggling to get back on the track. So Siam just understeering wide. I hope that nobody arcane-shaped got into him here. If anything, he got a little tag in the back, but there goes Siam off the circuit. Well, I've lost him. There he is, way off, and he's gone back there. So this one should be fun for the IR team, says Zen. That's the incident report team. Absolutely, it's definitely been action-packed, hasn't it? Several cars in the pits now, but Floody and K2 Mars have the lead of the race. They also have not pitted yet, still on the hard tyres, still on their starting tank of fuel. So they're going to try and one-stop this one, it looks like, and switch onto the medium tyres, fill up with fuel, and be able to go aggressive and strong to the end on better tyres than they've driven so far. Roy Mustang escaped that melee and is in 4th place now on the mediums. He stopped during the pit stop period. I think this is going to help Binkit get the front of the race at this stage with 25 minutes to go. They'll be heading in. Go see him, says Nate. It's good to see Nate joining. Got several people joining from other leagues, which I always love to see. They might be ex-Deviant alum, Nate and Larry, but going Grays from a different league as well. So great to have such good representation here at Deviant Racing on the GT7 platform, which still is the best looking race car game out there in my view. Binkit takes the lead of the race ahead of Roy Mustang. Now at the start of the race, I don't think Roy Mustang would have been thinking about a potential podium. Now he'll still probably have to pit one more time, but they get to run out in the front here, and if they work together, they should be able to maximise their result without costing each other too dearly. We shall see. Behind them, Arcane in 3rd, and then the 2nd of the Wonka Peugeots in P4, astonishing, and Shiesty up into P5, trying to maintain his winning streak, but it's not looking very promising, and he's been on the wrong strategy here. That's a problem then for Binkit. He'd just taken the lead of the race, Binkit, and he's off, and he's blocking astonishing there. Just as I click the replay button, that was a little bit of grass caught by 2 cars behind him, and then just drives clean off the racetrack. Wow. I don't think he was helped into that one, and what a save in the end. What a fantastic save. Style points are plenty, but unfortunately got himself into a difficult position just when he needed to maximize his pace, and I think that plays into the mind of the drivers when they know that they have to make those laps count when they're out in front. Unfortunately, that has cost him dearly. It will cost him a bit of extra fuel and certainly some extra tyre mileage as well. But Roy Mustang heading the field in the Aston Martin, and he is looking good out there in the BA livery here at Goodwood. Arcane working his way up to 2nd position. He's on the hard tyres, should be good till the end of the race. I just want to check in on our former leaders of the race and see what kind of fuel loads they are wearing, because they will have been able to calculate this to the end. That's Aussie there. He's got just over 3/4 of a tank, so it looks like that might be the target, unless he's got that wrong. It's Mercury. Kuros Kai is in 9th right now. Saito in 10th. Look at this between the two. Slug down the inside, and Saito around the outside in the Silvia. And that worked out well. K2's on the brand new medium tyres. He's just stopped once, but he needs to get a move on here. He's 30.8 seconds away from the lead. He needs to clear these cars so that he can close that gap and be within the pit stop delta of the leader, who is currently Dad's son, Roy Mustang Senior. Yes, that is one person. The 81 of Floody playing rear gunner here to K2, who's in a better championship position. Not by much, but certainly is, and has competed in the first 2 races of the year. So into the chicane we go. Always you see very different lines coming through here. And then K2 trying to get that inside line and the better drive with the newer tyres off the chicane against Saito. Inside line, Saito with just the extra top speed slightly there. Oh, that was a bit of rubbing, and I think that's going to be another incident report coming. I think that was just too marginal, and you could argue that's almost a pit manoeuvre there. I don't think there was anything deliberate about it, but as we head into the right-hander, how far alongside was the driver? Well, he was fully behind at that stage, and then we start to understeer. And we're rescuing it, and we're slower speed, and it might just be a racing incident. Now I look at it a second time, but it certainly helped K2 to get through. Floody has taken K2's position though, and is back in the lead then of these two battling. But they have net lost as a result of that sequence a further second to the leader of the race. This is going to come in to be very important later on, as they are trying to run as fast as possible between the two of them. They cannot afford to be tackling each other here. They just need to motor on through and try and slipstream each other to the next car up the road, which is 1.1 seconds further up that slug up there. At the back here, we've got Jim in 13th and our Saito now after that spill in 14th place. Let's check out Dad and Son and his. I think he might be able to get through and possibly be thinking about the soft tyres at the end of the race here. As far as I remember, he's used the mandatory tyres now. That will put him in a great position later on. Doing a bit of a gym strategy, Roy Mustang at the moment. We'll see if he can hang on. Arcane in second. He's on the hard tyres. Should be, well, I don't know if that's enough fuel to the end. We shall see. 20 minutes to go and half a tank of fuel, but it's a lap with a lot of full throttle section, so that does cost you. Plenty of opportunities to lift and coast though and save a bit of fuel. Medium tyres on Binkett's Peugeot RCZ, and that front left is looking second hand. Might be trying to get into the soft tyre window as well, potentially. We see the Sugar Rush Racing cars back together again, 3rd and 4th positions, and the former leader of the race, Aussie, is in 5th place, and he'll be trying to make sure he can get by these drivers, whether they need a pit stop or not. We shall wait and see, but I suspect that they will need a pit stop, and he won't need to pass them on track. Siam's Matt Silver. I do think Siam needs to change the livery slightly on the front bumpers, because it just gives away how much contact he's had on the front fender there of the car. It does not look pretty at all, but can't be helped. It's Mercury in 7th place then, with his teammate leading the race right now. Mercury in the Aston Martin. Just saw we've got some close fighting going on here as well. This is for P2. Arcane is in P2 at the moment. You've got to be so careful. We've seen a couple of cars pick up contact with the chicane wall there when they don't appear to be touching it. A little bit like Daytona Turn 1, invisible extra part of the wall. So getting a good margin between them. Nate says, you say contact, I saw character on Siam's car. Yes, okay. Well, in that case, it needs a bit of patina on it, doesn't it? Otherwise, it just looks like someone's been poking at it with their finger. But anyway, yes. You don't often see the Silvia. It doesn't have the most aerodynamic profile, but you paint a car kind of matte silver, and unfortunately it's going to show every little crease. Here is Aussie in P5, 5.5 seconds away from the lead. He's got 3 cars between himself and the leader of the race. So he's hanging on well enough here as the sun starts to fully set now. We'll get into that in the next few minutes. You can see just behind the tree line, but still plenty of light out there. We'll get headlights, I would have thought, before the end of the race, as we really get into the right-hander there, leading into the final part. There's the chicane to finish out lap 31. See him. Whoa, just cut to see him, and he's trying to hang on to the car once again. The rear tyre out on the dirt. And Mercury in 7th. Well, we've got a driver in the pits, have we? Or have we just had a disconnection? I think we might have just had a disconnection. Spot the missing driver here, which is never something I'm very good at doing. K2 and Slug are fighting. And K2 with another bit of contact there. And I think he does need to be careful. Yeah, it does. It looks like our former leader of the race, who is now off the circuit, and I think that is Aussie, who is dropping down. That looks like a mechanical, and he's now just coasting backwards. That is the leader, the former leader of the race, the favourite, the hot favourite of the race. Rear tyres spinning up. I think he has completely had a breakdown there, and unfortunately out of the race. I think Aussie. I think the medical car won't be dispatched. So one of our key contenders here for the race lead, Aussie, you have to say, he's probably deserving of the race lead and possibly the win today. Aussie's gone from us as a pit stop occurs for Arcane. That means Binkett and Astonishing in 2nd and 3rd positions now. And there goes Aussie out of the server completely. As K. Morris says, he's freezing. Well, if anybody should know about that, I'm sorry to say, it's probably K. Morris, who's intimately aware of disconnection status situation and what goes down. It's Binkett in 2nd place, who has caught Roy Mustang here very, very quickly. They're in a similar strategic position, so that's genuine pace difference. Binkett looking hot. He's had one little minor spill today, but he's still looking out there like a man very keen on a win, but you've still got to take into account K2 and Floody, who are on the option strategy, and will they come good? Will that strategy come good at the end of our race? They're currently, I believe, on the hard tyres. Let's go have a look at where they are. 23.9 seconds away from the lead. That's a huge gain. Remember back when it was 33 seconds, so that is a big gain, and you would imagine within the margin for a potential overtake. Floody, I think, has just got by Slug. Let's just see if we can catch that in the replay. No. Apologies. It was just Floody looking like he'd made the overtake, but I think it's about to kick off between himself and Slug. Astonishing. The top 3 all in the pits. Mercury goes by, but that's the front 3 in the pit lane. Floody off wide into the grass, and that's Slug who's going to get a good run. Floody holds on, but he can't go too far right as we get out of the pit lane. That's Binkett out of the pits, and he's on the medium tyres. He hasn't been able to use the softs for the last 14 minutes. Contact between the two in front as well. Slug versus Floody, and Slug is going to have a hell of a time going through his highlights here today, or should I say lowlights. I think he's been one of the worst affected drivers. He puts himself on the outside. He knows he's got the run here, but holding on, and he tries to claim a run into the inside line. I don't know, maybe he could have left an extra yard of space on the outside, but he did really well to hang on in the end on the way out. But yeah, it's not working out for Slug out there at all, as Aussie is blaming PSN and the network for his disconnection. So sorry to see that, Aussie. No one likes to see that at all, but it is motorsport, mechanical issues affecting our drivers. Here is Astonishing now fighting with Floody. This could be over essentially the race podium, as Where did Floody go? Floody just disappeared. Tell me Floody hasn't just gone as well. No, he's there. He's there in 5th. Okay, so he was fighting with Binkit. It's a different Wonka car. My apologies, folks, but here they are. These are the drivers who are going to be fighting over the podium, I think, come the end. Mercury and Arcane should still have to pit, as far as I can tell. Let's have a look at their fuel situation. Well, certainly Mercury. Arcane might be able to do this in the Scirocco. He might have worked his way into a good finish in the end here, but K2 is catching him very, very quickly and looking very good out there in the sunshine as well. K2 in P3, but it's all about what's going on further back here. The two Wonka cars either side of the Hello Kitty Chevrolet C7 race car, Peugeot RCZ. Very, very different machines, different profile and aerodynamics, but the BOP brings them together. Let's see if we can get down the inside here with Floody. Side by side, he just hasn't got the top speed advantage at this point. Almost gets into the left rear of Binkit. We don't often see Binkit in a position where he's defending, I have to say. He's usually on the attack, is Binkit. It's usually a driver who's fighting hard. Ignore that fuel warning. That's not for this car. It's just fine out there. We'll just check out on Arcane. 1.8 seconds in the lead of this race. Brand new medium tyres. Less fuel on board than K2. Who's got a safer buffer, I think, is what's going on. And we'll join on board then Floody as we try and pressurise Binkit into a mistake. It may still come. Just too much curb, too much grass. And there's Floody catching just the perfect amount of curb through there and into St Mary's left hand, and he's got much better grip on the car at this stage. There is Floody. Sorry, there is Binkit holding firm on the inside. Can Floody get the over-under done here? But so far, Binkit is putting in a great defensive job here. In fact, bringing Astonishing into the mix as well. Let's fly by the camera. Astonishing in a good championship position as well. Can he sneak through down the inside here, following his teammate? Floody's off. Yes, that's Floody off on the grass, and that's going to allow Astonishing through. Focusing on the car in front, doesn't factor in the fact that his inside is being taken away there by this Astonishing, who decided to follow his teammate. Floody was going for the outside-inside maneuver, but he got one tyre slightly dirty, I think. Astonishing tucks down the inside. There's no contact as far as I can see. Floody just understeering right, and then Astonishing just rolling off the brake straight into the corner. And another great overtake then for Team Sugar Rush, and Zen is happy to see them in 3rd and 4th positions right now. Could still be a double podium for the team, but getting by Floody has cost them big time. Slug's got back past Floody as well, so Floody off the circuit there. I think he might have had even more drama going through the chicane than we caught potentially, but dropping back now 10.4 seconds off the race lead. Arcane leads us 1.6 seconds to the good ahead of K2. That's medium tyres for both cars. K2 on the slightly older medium tyres, and then it's still undecided pretty much for our 3rd step of the podium. Slug in 5th, headlights ablaze now. Shadows across onto the outside tyre walls as well on the racetrack. Oh, that was 2 bites of the cherry there from Astonishing, and he was slow through. So Slug's going to come straight back at him. I think if Slug can pick up P4 today, I think he'll be absolutely overjoyed the amount of contact he's quote-unquote enjoyed through the course of today. Maybe he's a kind of driver who doesn't mind all of that. Here comes Floody back on the hunt though. Gets up the inside on the way into Ford Water. This won't be a good position for the left-hander still to come, but I think Floody has managed to get by, steals the racing line, and he'll get on the brakes here. Beautiful sliding GT4 cars through this St Mary's left corner. And there you've got Slug then back down to P6. And Floody moving back forward again. Astonishing in 4th Binkett is checking out here and trying his best to put pressure on K2, but 7.2 seconds with more than 7.2 minutes to go does look a little bit like an unassailable job. But Arcane seems to be giving up a little bit of speed and performance. K2 naturally today has better speed. Arcane the better strategy, I think, so far today. K2, can he take his first win here in just his third race with Deviant Racing League? That would be absolutely fantastic for him. He's got great pace. Aussie was possibly your rightful winner today with 2/3 of the race run, and that's probably not going to help his feelings at the moment, but I'm sure he would agree with me that he had this in the bag. Had a good strategy. Unfortunately, his Enzo Motorsport Ferrari gave up on him. It's Floody in P5 in the pink Hello Kitty Chevrolet, Slug in the Enzo Motorsport Ferrari behind him, and then you've got Dad and Son, who led this race for a couple of laps there, down in 7th position. Shiesty on the winning streak. Oh dear me, and Slug has been punted again. Now, I don't know if he was too slow at the corner entry, but unfortunately, that is not the first time that Slug has been caught out here. I'm going to turn left. Slug was off on the grass slightly. He was slow away from there, thanks to getting himself on the grass. But by the time they get down into this corner, he was unsure of what his tyres were going to do for him. And that is Roy Mustang, I think, voluntarily just about to wait then for his rival to come back on, just acknowledging that that was his bad, that was on him, and he's let Slug back through. But that's not, it's good, but it's not going to help Slug feel much better about today. What an absolute disaster of a race. Here comes Siam, who's trying to take advantage now of Mustang and his sportsmanship, which is beyond reproach. But Siam outside to inside. This looks like he's lining him up quite nicely here into Fordwater. But remember, after Fordwater, the long 3-part right-hander comes St Mary's, and that is a left-hander, which is not going to happen for him. Arcane now just half a second ahead of K2. 5 minutes to go. That's a lot of pressure for Arcane to absorb, and we'll see if he can do it. Is he able to rise to the task here? K2 on the worst tyres. I don't know how aware of that Arcane will be in the cockpit of K2's strategy. Look at the closing speed in the brakes into the chicane. I think Arcane is playing this as cautiously as he dare. But look at the gap between P2 and P3. You can't even see P3 in that wide shot. 7.4 seconds back to Binkett, and astonishing. But this is over the race win. So we'll stay with this at least for a few minutes until it becomes whatever it's going to become. That is Arcane holding the inside line there, giving up a little bit of speed to make sure he holds firm. Will K2 be able to get underneath the VW? It's all about just putting your rival in a difficult position and not making a mistake, not running into the back of them, but outfoxing them in some way, forcing them to defend when the move is coming, or tricking them into thinking a move is already underway, and then they try and block a move that doesn't happen. A shadow attempt, perhaps. It's K2 4/10 of a second in the sunset conditions here at Goodwood. Beautiful racetrack, beautiful graphics and scenery as we finish out this race. You can see huge understeer there from Arcane. No real reason why that should be the case. That's just pressure, I think. It should be K2 who is struggling on the tyre wet as he gets tucked up underneath. It's now just 2/10 of a second between himself and Arcane. I don't know if K2 speaks English, whether he enjoys the stream or not. I haven't heard from him. It may be he's not even aware that we broadcast to the world. K2 is putting on a fantastic show here out of Brazil, and is pressurizing Arcane, a very seasoned Deviant racer. He's gone to the outside. K2 looking for that inside line. Are they going to muscle their way by? I don't know if there was contact. We'll have a look in the replay once this is said and done, but Arcane straight back into it. Wow. That was so close. Hold on, dude. Oh, it's going to go around. The tank slapper takes effect, and he goes around, unfortunately. Let's have another look at this. I couldn't decide from the rear-facing camera whether there was contact. There was contact. I'm not sure whether he had anywhere he could reasonably go. And then they didn't touch the second time. Arcane holds on down the inside. Vintage Arcane, says Gareth, says Larry there. And then unfortunately around we go. And that is potentially P1, possibly even P2, and definitely P2, as it's now down to 6th position. Forza, Binkit and Astonishing. Take a look at the Peugeots as they come through the final chicane here with 2 minutes on the clock. I think we're down to the final few laps now. The wind has increased. That might have impacted. It would have been a crosswind heading into the Ford Water St Mary's section on the west of the circuit there for the leaders. Look at Arcane go. 6.1 seconds now his lead, and that looks good. Being at the front, not crashing, and then Zen says great recovery by Arcane after the shunt. There you can see Floody on his return, staring at a potential 4th place right now. And I'm sure he'll be pretty pleased with that. It's been a very action-packed race. We will, I'm sure, have some steward decisions that might affect the result come the end of the race, but I'm hoping not the top 3 here. Floody in 4th, Shiesty currently 5th place. We've got K2 recovering in 6th, and on very little fuel as well. That is low on fuel with 1 minute 4 to go. We've got Roy Mustang in 7th, Slug in 8th, who has been battered and bruised through this race. Mercury in 9th, Jim in 10th, Siam 11th at the moment. Kuros Kai in the Gulf colours, the biggest Gulf sticker he could find for the doors in P12. R Saito in the beast of Sylvia to handle in 13th place. But Arcane leads us by 6.6 seconds now, ahead of Binkit and Astonishing into the final lap. This is the white flag lap now. So this is how things are looking like they're going to finish. Gaps have opened out all of a sudden, and the clock very close to going dead as we finish out this race. I think possibly our rearmost driver will do 1 fewer laps and will be about to cross the line in a few moments. Let's have a look. Where is he? It's Saito. The clock is going dead, so Saito may well take the checkered flag first here. Let's see as he goes across his 43rd lap, and I think we'll secure 13th place overall. So that is how things have worked out. Arcane though, what a fantastic performance. He had to hold firm, absorb tons of pressure, but in the end the strategy worked and he wins in Goodwood, and he's delighted to see it. Fantastic result for him. Another great one from Sugar Rush. Binkit with an impressive display ahead of Astonishing in 3rd place. Floody across the line on his return in 4th. Shiesty takes 5th. So this will be the worst of the 3 results he's had so far. And K2 did run out of fuel and is going even further down. Roy Mustang in 6th place. K2 in 7th. Slug gets 8th in the end. He'll hope that penalties for other drivers to take that further back, take him further forward. Mercury in 9th. Jim, happy birthday to Jim with a P10 in the end in the Martini Porsche. See him through in the beleaguered Nissan Silvia with the dents all over the front fender there in 11th place home, and Kuros Kai will take home P10. Wow, that was a very action-packed race. We had 14 drivers take the starting lights. We have 11 finishing us in the end here. Arcane with a masterful performance. Don't forget, folks, if you can, just to leave something positive on the video today. There is, I think there might be time left on the. I don't think there is time left on the super chat, where you can. There is a little bit of time possibly left on that, but you can always drop a tip if you so desire, or join the channel like Larry has done. As you can see, the star next to Larry's name, he is a member of the Webbo commentary channel. So yeah, fantastic. Talk to Dirksy about Sensit Haptics and how he went with his prize today, and see if you fancy picking one up for yourself. Follow my link for €60 off as well. Victory for Arcane. A great result for him and the team. That is the Scirocco Group 4 on a best lap of a 17.8, but he takes it home with a great strategy ahead of the two Sugar Rush Racing cars of Binkit and Astonishing. Floody is fourth. Roy Mustang for Jetstream in fifth, and Slug for Enzo in P6. Mercury in the second of the Aston Martins for the Jetstream team in seventh, and Jim in Legend Motorsport Porsche in the Cayman there in the Martini colours in eighth. On his birthday in the end, it's Siam ahead of Kuros Kai for 9th and 10th. Saito Chaotica finishing ahead of everybody else. Saito, Aussie, K2 and Shiesty. What happened to K2 there? How has K2 and Shiesty got deposed down to 14th? I think we've got a problem with our race result there. That is odd to me, because I'm pretty sure Jim was 10th and K2 and Shiesty should be further up the order. I know K2 ran out of fuel, but he crossed the line in 7th as far as I could see. So something fishy's gone on with the server there. But a fastest lap for K2. Great performance from him in the end. Just a slightly dodgy attempt at an overtake on Arcane at the end, possibly. But that is how things have worked out. It's Arcane, Binkit, and Astonishing. No arguments with the podium. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. This has been Webbo for Deviant Racing, and we will catch you on the next race day.